Check, check, check. I do not like this whatsoever. But we need it for YouTube, you said, right? Wonderful. No problem. Hi, everyone. My name is Hector Dominguez. I'm here on behalf of the Cook County Assessor's Office. So, question number one, can everyone hear me clearly? Wonderful. Microphones are treacherous for muffling sound. Um, but no, no problem at all. I just want to make sure everyone can hear me. So if we're good with that, then I can continue. Awesome. Beautiful. So we are here tonight for lots of different reasons, but mainly to kind of go over what the appeal process is within the assessor's office and then how to file an appeal online. We get questions every day. Do I need to hire an attorney to do this? The answer is no. Do you have a right to hire an attorney? Absolutely. I'm willing to bet also, because I know some of you all are in a condo building, you might already have a association, and your association might already have a attorney on retainer that you are already paying for. So keep that in mind as well as we go forward. But you do not need an attorney. I'm going to literally walk you through this line by line. On the appeal itself, you are only typing 7 or 8 times, and of those 7 and 8 times, you are repeating 2 of them. They're duplicates. So after we are done, you can then decide if you want to hire an attorney or not. It is my goal, though, to walk you through this and have you feel as confident as humanly possible so that you don't have to pay for this. Also, this is not an exemption presentation. However, I am going to touch on exemptions and discounts a little bit just because I think they're important. So if you have any questions, please wait to the very end. I usually do this before COVID, I would do rooms of like 500, 600 people. During COVID, it's about 100. You guys are not that. So I'm going to switch up my approach a little bit. Is that okay? Can you guys still hear me? Okay. We normally do a kind of 45, 15-minute presentation and then like a 10-minute Q&A. I want to do the opposite because there's not a lot of us here. I'd rather do a kind of like 25-minute presentation and then the rest Q&A. No problem. I agree. I agree. I'm loud by nature. I'm just not loud on this mic because it will distort. So I'm trying to tame it down. We're going to do one more question, and then we're going to jump right in. Just look for my handsome face, guys. That's all you got to do. All right? So let us begin. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here tonight for Property Tax Assistant Lyons Township Appeals. So question number 1, is there anyone here not from Lyons Township? Awesome. You can be here from another township. I just can't help you tonight. Kind of. I can, but your township's probably closed. So on the screen is your Cook County Assessor. This is Fritz Kaegi. Now, I know we might have questions like, well, hey, I have a Lyons Township. Is that different than the Cook County Assessor? Yes, it is. So your Lyons Township Assessor is kind of like your liaison. They are your advocate, your middleman between you all and our office. They do not work for our office. They work for you. They just contact us on your behalf. But the assessor, Fritz Kaegi, is the assessor of the entire county. So what are the responsibilities of the assessor's office? We have a lot, but I'm going to highlight a couple. One, it is our responsibility to put a value to almost 2 million different properties, right? So how do we do that? We use what's called a mass appraisal system. It is our job also to give you discounts. Those are your exemptions, your homeowner exemption, senior citizen, senior freeze, all of those. That is what our office does as well. And lastly, we do what we're doing tonight, the appeal process. Kind of a way to do like a checks and balances, right? Hey guys, there's no way my house is worth this much. Somebody made a mistake. Can you please double check? That's what we're doing here tonight. Here's what we don't do. We do not issue tax bills. We do not collect tax bill payments. We are not responsible for your local township tax rate, kind of like the taxing bodies, the levies within your specific township. If you look at your second installment tax bill, there's a giant yellow box in the middle. That has nothing to do with our office. We did not create that. We are not involved in that. That has nothing to do with us. And lastly, we're not responsible for your state's equalizer. Your state equalizer is what makes your, or us, Cook County, equal with all the other counties in Illinois. For example, in Cook County, residential property is assessed at 10%. Commercial property is assessed at 25%. Everywhere else in the state, your home is assessed at 33.33%. So that's why that state equalizer exists. It's created by the Department of Revenue, and they figure out what number we need to have to make us equal with all the other counties in Illinois. So, some deadlines. Your guys' township, Lyons Township, closes on November 27th. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not be the individual that logs on at 11:59 p.m. on November 27th and then tries to file an appeal and then contacts our office and says, you guys did not want to take my appeal. That is not what we're doing here, okay? Today is the 21st. So that means you have until next, what, Monday? Next Monday is your deadline. I hope and pray that after we're done here tonight, you guys will feel confident enough to do this. I'm going to walk you through it again. So please, if you have a notebook, go ahead and take some notes. This is being recorded. This will be played back, I'm sure, on Channel 6. Let's go. Also, probably on Facebook, probably on YouTube somewhere. Just, again, look for my face. So your guys' deadline is November 27th. Now, some math, some information, right? So according to the data collected, single-family homes in your area, that's about over 20,000 different homes. And you guys, if you guys want to look this way, you can see the information on this screen. If you all want to look on that one, you can follow me here. Single-family homes, the average is about 346,000. For condos, it's 183,000, and for multifamily homes, it's 330,000. So here's the question you have to ask yourself. Are you within 10% of these values? If the answer is yes, can you still appeal? Absolutely. Will you get a reduction? Probably not. If you are nowhere near these values, can you file an appeal? Absolutely. Will you get a reduction? We have to figure that part out. If you are under these values, can you file an appeal? Yes. I probably would not. I would probably just go home right now if my values are less than what the averages are. But you can still hang out with us. So how can you tell if you are if your properties are kind of comparable, right? So what you can do is you can go to our website, cookcountyassessor.com/Lyons-2023, and from there you can use our neighborhood tool, our neighborhood code tool, right? From here, guys, you can literally put in your neighborhood code and then see what the values are around your area in your specific neighborhood. So question number one, is there anyone here who has a reassessment notice with them? Did anyone bring it? Awesome. Can you tell me what your neighborhood code is? I believe it's the second or third number down. And anybody back here? Yep. Your neighborhood code is not going to be written on there. No, sir. That's not your neighborhood code. 065? 022? 065? Anybody got a different one? There should be. There might be. There could be. Well, the point is everyone has a different neighborhood code. When we are done, I will show you on your reassessment notice. Probably. Maybe. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds about right. So the point is, yep, the point is that everyone has, not everyone, but most people have different neighborhood codes. So this idea that, hey, I looked at my friends and their value was X, mine should be the same. When you are looking at the value of your property, you want to make sure you're in the correct neighborhood code. And how do you do that? You can look at your reassessment notice and find someone with the same neighborhood code, but there's other kind of things you need to know. Or you can just go to our website, cookcountyassessor.com/Lyons-2023, put in your neighborhood code there, and kind of go around the area and see what the values actually are. So why would someone appeal? There are many different reasons. I'm going to go over the three most common. The first one, lack of uniformity. That just means you and I live on the same block, house built by the same person, same size, same color, same construction, same everything. But for whatever reason, our values are not the same, and I want to know why we are not uniform. The next reason is overvaluation. That's probably everybody here, right? There's no way my house is worth this much. If my house was worth this much, I would sell it to you right now. Here go the keys, right? And then the third most common reason is incorrect property description, also known as property description error. That just means there's a factual error, not an opinionated error. What's the difference? A factual error is our office says your property has 3,000 square feet, but it's really 1,500. Our office says you have a building with 6 apartments or less, but you're saying, no, I don't. I have a single family home, right? There's a factual error. There are other reasons, and we're going to go over those in a few slides, but these are the three most common. Also, here is your reassessment notice. On your reassessment notice, you have some very vital information. So sorry. Very vital information. On here, you have your township, your neighborhood code, your square footage, your construction type, your assessed value, your PIN number. This is not a tax bill. We hear this every time a reassessment notice goes out. Hey guys, this is my new bill. This is crazy. This is not a tax bill. This is not a tax bill. This is not a tax bill. This is letting you know what we believe your property is worth based on homes that sold that are similar to yours. If you disagree, which is why you're all here, then we're going to go over how to fix that tonight, how to try to fix that tonight. So the reassessment process and the appeal process. First, you receive your reassessment notice. Then you come to one of our events. You come and see one of us, and we will walk you through how to file an appeal. Then you would file your own appeal. Once you file your appeal, an analyst will then review your appeal and decide if your argument has any weight or not. They're going to look at the evidence you provide and go, you know what? They are right and we were incorrect. Let's give them a reduction. Or they're going to say, sorry, we're not. Either way, you're going to receive a letter in the mail with a decision. It's called a decision letter. That decision letter is going to be mailed to you, and then from there you have a couple different options. If you received a reduction, you have nothing to do. You'll see that reduction on your second installment tax bill next year. If you did receive a reduction and you're still not satisfied, or you received no reduction at all, you can contact the Cook County Board of Review. We are step number 1. They are step number 2. If our office said no, you can still appeal through their office, and their office can say yes. And it's kind of the same situation, the same process, different. It looks a little bit different, but it's essentially the same thing. You'll get a decision letter from them. If you're satisfied, you have nothing to do, and you can see the reduction on your second installment tax bill next year. If you receive a reduction and you're not satisfied, or you got a decision you did not like, you can go to the third step, which is the PTAB board, Property Tax and Appeal Board. However, that is not free. The assessor's office is free. The Board of Review is free. PTAB is not. PTAB is in Springfield, so you will have to drive down there. You will have to kind of make some type of situation where you can stay overnight or you can drive back, whatever you need to do. But PTAB is not free. So Board of Review is, the assessor's office is step number 1. Board of Review is step number 2. PTAB is step number 3. Now, how do we appeal? Well, you would go to cookcountyassessor.com/online-appeals, or just go to cookcountyassessor.com and click on the word appeals. And then from here, you can start your appeal, you can stop your appeal, you can pause your appeal, you can edit your appeal, you can kind of do whatever you want with it until your deadline. You can submit additional or supporting documentation. This is free. This will always be free. We will never charge for this. And your township closes on November 27th. So that's next Monday. I imagine no one's going to be doing this tomorrow or Thursday or Friday. But that means you have today or Saturday or Sunday or Monday to get this done. So let's begin. You would go to cookcountyassessor.com. Does this work on here? No, it doesn't. You would click on the word appeal, and then this is where you would go. Now, for you all here, I know that some of you all in the room have condos. Some of you all have residential. We're going to focus on residential tonight because condos are a totally different situation. However, if you did want to file a condo appeal, you just click on condo co-op. But what we're doing here tonight is residential. So you would click on residential and then just log in. If you have appealed in the past, just log in. If you have not, then you just have to create a new account. It takes less than 2 minutes to create an account, and then you would just log in. So my email is happytaxpayer@gmail.com, and then click log in. From here, you're going to see available filings. So what you all want to do is scroll all the way to the bottom and find residential assessment appeals. Yours would say 2023. For condos, again, you can do this as well. Yours would just say Condo Co-op Assessment Appeal 2023. Yes, sir. Great question. So it depends on what your PIN number. It depends on what your PIN number ends in. So if your PIN number ends in 4 zeros, you're a residential property. If your PIN number ends in anything other than 4 zeros, like 1378 or 2468, those are considered condos. So what's your PIN number end in? If it ends in 4 zeros, that's a residential property. It'll be at the top of your reassessment notice or at the top of your tax bill if you have that. Is that your reassessment notice? Your PIN number is right here. Ends in 4 zeros. So you are residential. Correct. Yes. Now you might have a HOA. I live in a townhome and I have an HOA, but we're not condos. We're still residential property. So I know that sometimes throws people off. Like I have an HOA, but I'm not a condo. So what am I? You are still residential. You just might have a HOA as well, which sounds kind of like what's happening here today from listening to the crowd as everybody walked in. So you would click on residential assessment appeal and then begin filing. So here you would put in your PIN number. Once you type in your PIN number, this will auto-populate for you. Now, if you are the current owner and have been for a large amount of years, more than likely your name will automatically pop up. But if you're someone like me who bought a home from someone else, you might have to scroll until you find your name. So all you have to do is find your name and click Start Filing. Once you click Start Filing, your screen would read Lyons Township. This was one that we did for Berwyn. That's why it says Berwyn. But I want to draw your attention to the check boxes. Wherever you see a checkbox or a red star or asterisk, you must complete that task. If you try to proceed without completing that task, a giant warning will pop up and say, you are doing this wrong. Do you want to fix it now? That's literally what it will say. So you don't have to worry if you're doing it right or wrong. You'll know if you are. And if you can continue, then you're doing it correctly. But again, anywhere you see a checkbox or a red star asterisk, go ahead and complete that task. So once you check the boxes, you would click Next, and then this will auto-populate for you. Now, if you look up, I know you guys are recording me, but you can't see what I'm doing. But if you look up here, these are the different steps you have to do to file your appeal. All right? So for this screen, this will auto-populate for you. You don't have to do anything here but click Next. Now, here is where it gets a little fun. Some people who file an appeal because they have the incorrect square footage or there was some type of factual error on their property, they would use this screen here. And they would let us know what years the value was incorrect based on the factual error. 99% of you all are not going to touch this screen. You would just go Next. Here, this also might not apply to anybody here either. It might though, actually it might. So this is for prorated property. Prorated property is for anyone who has one property that has multiple PIN numbers. So that might mean your home sits on 2 different lots. It might mean that your home is really, really big and you have 2 PIN numbers for it, but you would know. So if instead of receiving 2 tax bills a year, you receive 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You receive multiple, more than 2 tax bills a year. So if you are only receiving 2 tax bills a year, you can ignore this page and go to Next. Otherwise, just go ahead and type in your additional PIN number. Now, we're already halfway done with the appeal, and you've only typed once so far. Here is where You got to do a little bit of legwork, right? So wherever we see a red star or an asterisk or a checkbox, you must complete that task. So we just need to know who you are. So on the drop-down menu, just let us know you are the taxpayer owner. Same with the next drop-down menu. Let us know you're the taxpayer owner. Go ahead and give us your name. And once you give us your name, the rest of this will auto-populate for you, except for your phone number and your email address. So just go ahead and fill that information out and click next. Once you do that and you click next, you will be brought here, and you just have to check or make sure you are the taxpayer that you're talking about. Remember earlier I said that if you've owned the property and so has someone else at a different time, and their name might be there, so you just have to scroll and find your name if your name doesn't show up automatically, which I'm willing to bet almost everyone here has owned their home for a while. So I don't imagine someone else's name is going to show up there. And then here is your property characteristic page. Now, again, for 99% of you all, you're going to completely ignore this page unless you know for a fact your home is not 50 years old. It's 100, right? This is for someone who knows for a fact that their characteristics are incorrect, and that information is provided to you on our website and on your reassessment notice. So most people are going to scroll all the way to the bottom and click next. Here's where it gets a little fun. So you're saying, guys, there is absolutely no way my home is worth X amount of dollars. Well, then just let us know what you believe your property is actually worth. Where it says desired value or market value, sorry, go ahead and give us a value that you believe your property is worth. Please don't write 0. Please do not write 0. We want a value because you're saying you disagree. So please let us know what you believe your home is worth based on what you perceive or what you've seen, not perceive, what you've seen other homes like yours sell for. Yes, sir. So kind of, right? So can you contact our office and say, hey, can you help me figure out how you got to this? Yes, you can. It's called a FOIA request, Freedom of Information request. However, depending on if those are work files or not, you may or may not receive all of them. However, the answer in general is other homes like yours that sold, that are built like yours, not that were short sales or foreclosures or hand-to-hand transactions, is where that value actually came from. But you have every right to go, hey, I still want to see that information. Can you help me out? Absolutely, freedom of information. You definitely do a FOIA request, and they can make that happen. Now, after you tell us what you believe your property is actually worth, we need to know why you are appealing. So let's go over these reasons one more time. Lack of uniformity. What's your name? Colleen? That just means Colleen and I live on the same block, house built by the same size, same color, same construction, same everything. But our values are different, and I want to know why. The next reason is overvaluation. That's almost everybody here probably. There's no way my house is worth this much. If it was, I would sell it back to you right now. The next one is vacancy occupancy. That means you have an empty property. If you choose this option, you will have to prove that you have an empty property. Well, how do you prove you have an empty property? Excuse me. You will have to provide pictures, some type of something showing that your property is empty. Fun fact, you can only receive a vacancy occupancy for 2 years. Anything after that, you're no longer going to qualify. That kind of deters people from finessing the system, right? Next, we have fire damage. That's self-explanatory. If you have a fire, just show proof. Fire reports, police reports, insurance claims, invoices, estimates, pictures, anything that you can provide. Next is property description error. We already talked about that. There's a factual error. Next, we have building is uninhabitable. This means you physically cannot live there. It doesn't mean that my kitchen is ugly. It doesn't mean that my husband still lives there. It doesn't mean any of these things. It means that you actually cannot live there. That means wherever this is has that giant red or orange sticker that says you cannot be inside of this property. And then lastly, building no longer exists. That is self-explanatory. So when you choose a reason for appealing, you have to give us some type of reasoning why you're choosing this option. You cannot just say, I think my value is too high. Well, why? What led you to believe that your value was too high? So that's where you want to give us some type of information. So You can, as a taxpayer, click on more than one reason why you are appealing. Just know you will have to provide information on every reason you are appealing. So my home was actually arsoned in 2011, so I picked every single one of those. And I gave reasons for every single reason. Why did I believe my home was like no other? Well, because nobody else's house was burned down like mine. Uh, Overvaluation. You're charging me for a house. I don't have a house. I have a hole in the ground now, right? So those are the type of things that we're looking for. You can also do what's called a field check. Field check is when someone from our office actually goes out to your property, redraws and remeasures your property. It's free. You don't have to make an appointment. No one from our office has to actually enter your home. This is all done from the outside. You don't even have to be home to do this. All you have to do is say, yes, I want a field check. Someone will actually come out, redraw and remeasure your property for free. And now we need to know we need to know what kind of property do you have? Do you have a single family home? Do you have a building with 6 apartments or less? Do you have a mixed use? Mixed use is when you have some type of restaurant or some type of business or something on the first floor and you live on the second floor. Do you have a townhome or a duplex? You have to let us know what type of property you have. Yes, sir. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. So that's a different type of question. Let's wait till we get there. We're going to get there. Yeah. So now, finding comparables, right? Because you typed in your PIN number, this top portion here, where it says search for comparable parcels, this already has your data inside of it. Do not touch that. If you change one thing in here, it will throw off your data completely. This is already done for you. You can't see it, but there's a button right here in blue that says find comparables. If you're looking, not everyone does this, but if you are looking for comparables, just click find comparables. This is already done for you. The hard work's already done for you. By leaving this the way it is, it matches your neighborhood code, it matches your construction type, it matches your square footage, it matches the year, it matches literally everything of your property. This is where your pool of comparables can be pulled from. No, this is where the comparables can be pulled from, right here. You don't have to do anything else. However, yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, you just have to pick which one you want to use. So, but we'll get there in a second. Underneath there, we do have a situation where some folks say, hey, I actually want to use the person across the street from me. I don't feel like looking for them. I just want to give you their PIN number or their address. You can do that too, where it says custom additional search criteria. That's where you would put the ones you want us to look at immediately. Like, I know for a fact this is the one. You just don't feel like looking for it in all the data. Yes, sir. You can include as many as you want. We're going to look at like 5 or 6 of them. And I would encourage you, this is not legal counsel. Camera, this is not legal counsel. This is just me sharing my opinion. I would look for the properties that are closest to your home. Some people like to look for comparables lots and lots and lots of miles away. That is not the same area. That is not the same anything. That is not the same township. That is not the same neighborhood code. That is not going to work. Can you do that? Yes. Will you be successful? Probably not. Kind of. Yeah. Great question. So the answer is it depends. Now I'm going off of what you said because I don't live here. So I'm based off what you said. If you only have two properties, the answer is no. Right? No, two homes sold are not going to shift everybody's values. However, if I'm not saying you're not right, but if it's more than two homes, right? If we're talking 20 homes, 30 homes, I don't know what the average is out here. I'm just using those numbers. Then that absolutely means people are willing to buy your property for X amount of dollars. So the question isn't, or this is not legal counsel. This is just two people talking. It would be in your best interest to say, hey, I don't believe my value is X, and here is why. The property at whatever address it is sold for this amount, and the property at whatever address this was sold for this amount because of this. However, that does not mean that my property is worth this because this is why. So it's you have to tell us, because we're just getting the data, right? So we're not talking to humans. We're just getting the data. So you have an obligation to say, hey, you're wrong, and here's why you're wrong. Here's the information. Here's the data. It doesn't make sense that home X sold for this and home Y sold for this. That doesn't mean my property is worth this much. Yeah. Hmm. No, no, it was 20. It was 2020. Yeah. Hmm. 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 Kind of. Yeah. So can you submit? Yeah. Can you submit appraisals? Absolutely. Personally, I would not be submitting appraisals older than 18 months because you're in the middle of a brand new reassessment at that point. Now, that's not legal counsel. That's not me telling you what to do. We're just, no, but I have to say that because, the comment section is going to go crazy and say, he said. So, no, that is not, I cannot do that. Yeah. If I want to prove that the assessor's office is wrong and my value is not whatever our office says it is, I have to prove that. So how would I prove that? Probably getting an appraisal and saying, hey, look, the appraisal says it's worth this based on, and then I know my appraisal has all the documentation in it. It has the sales analysis. It has the comparables that they use. It has all that information. So I'm not telling you what to do, but I am saying if you do get that, I would submit that information. Mm-hmm. Probably. Probably. Then I only chose one comparable for this example because I did not want to just confuse everybody. But what will happen is once you pick a comparable, you're going to get your list here. From this list, I'm sorry, once you say, I want to find comparables, you're going to get a list here. Now, on my list, there's only one because I didn't want to confuse anybody, but there are going to be hundreds of them. You just have to scroll through them. Alternatively, you can contact your township assessor's office, and they have a program called the AIM program, AIM, the AIM program. That AIM program can narrow it down even better than our website does. And I don't know if you have to make an appointment with their office. I don't know if they take walk-ins. I'm not sure what they do take walk-ins. Beautiful. You can just walk in and say, hey, can you help me find comparables? The Lyons Township Assessor's Office. Huh? It's called the AIM program. Well, your township assessor does have a tool different than what you can find, because that's why it's unique to them. So the AIM program, you're not going to find that on Google. That's unique. I don't know what that is either, but I know that each suburban township assessor has the AIM program that's not open to the public. It's private. Only they have it. Only they have access to it. So you would just have to go there. Sorry. Just have to go there, either make an appointment or call, whatever the situation is there, and then they will help you find comparables that way also. Alternatively, well, no. So once you find your comparables, they'll be listed here. And if you, for whatever reason, made a mistake and clicked on the wrong comparable and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Easy. Just click previous and click on the correct one. If this is in fact correct, then you would just click next. That's it. For the record, we've only typed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times so far. We've only typed in 5 pieces of data so far. Here is where you can submit more. You can submit pictures here. You can this is where you would submit your appraisal. This is where you would submit pictures, a sales analysis, a plat survey if that's your argument, a narrative. Here's where, sir, I'm not telling you what to do, but here's where I would submit, hey guys, your value's wrong because this property sold for X, this property sold for Y. That doesn't mean that mine is worth this because yada, yada, yada. This is where I would submit that information at too. Everything here. Also, some people like to get lots of comparables and put them on like on an Excel spreadsheet or a Word document because that's just how they like to organize their information. You can upload that information here too. The only thing you cannot upload here are videos. Some people like to say, hey, my house, you have my house incorrect. It's not, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that. And then they walk around with a video. Well, that video is not going to upload on here. So it's be in your best interest to submit pictures. I would not do that. Yes. You understand that if you submit a lot of data, we won't look at it? Is that what you said? I'm sorry you were told that. I have always been, huh? No, sir. I am from the school of thought that if my teacher requested A, B, or C, I submitted A, B, and C. So it would be in your best interest if your argument is, hey, the value's wrong. How? Why? So submit as much information as you can. Now we are at the end of your appeal. This is number 6 and number 7 of the amount of times you are typing in your appeal. So here we just need your name and your phone number and your email address will auto-populate, and then click submit. Once you click submit, you're going to get a giant, are you sure you want to submit this filing? Up to here, you can still pause your appeal, stop, go do something else. You don't have to submit it. You can do whatever you want. You can cancel it, whatever you want to do. But the moment you click yes, you're going to get a giant confirmation page. It's going to say confirmation on it. It's going to say thank you. And then you're going to have a filing ID number. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know that you may have heard in the past that, I know a guy who knows a guy who has a friend, right? The new assessor came in and completely revamped the way appeals are done. Colleen, correct? Colleen, that was your name? Okay, so Colleen cannot call and say, hey, can you please look up my appeal and let me know the status? Of course. My name is Colleen. No, that's not how we do it. Appeals are anonymous. So we can't look them up based on your name. We can only look them up by your PIN number or your filing ID number. So when you get this confirmation page, I would highly recommend that you write this number down, that you take a screenshot of this number, that you put it on a Post-it note on top of your laptop or something, whatever you need to do, put it in your phone to remember this number, because when you contact our office, you're going to say, hey, can you tell me the status of my appeal? We're going to say, yes, what's your filing ID number? And that's what you're going to give us. Alternatively, if you don't want to deal with us and you don't want to speak with us, you can just log right back in and click My Filings. When you click on My Filings, just look for your filing ID number, and there you'll see the status as well. Yes, ma'am. If you print this screen, will it print your filing ID number? Yeah. You could do that too. I don't own a printer. So yeah. Yeah, no, my wife is a teacher and she's like, can you buy me a printer? I'm like, no, we don't use those. Like, we're not doing that. But I probably should buy her one because she's a teacher. Next, you can check all this information on our website, cookcountyassessor.com. The exemption history, appeal history, assessment history. You can read all that information there. Very quickly, this is not an exemption workshop, but I do want to talk about exemptions very quickly. The ones in yellow, they kind of look yellow on this screen, but I promise they are yellow. The homeowner, the senior citizen, and the persons with disability exemption, those are new going forward, automatically renews, which means if you filed for them last year, you don't have to file for them again. Or if you filed for them this year, you don't have to file for them again. They will automatically renew going forward unless there's a deed change. The ones in red, veterans with disability exemption and the home improvement exemption, those are automatically renewed going forward as well, except with special stipulations. So things have to align perfectly in order for that to happen. This is what your tax bill looks like. Earlier we talked about the tax levies or the taxing bodies in your specific township. That's this giant yellow box. Here you can see what the amount of money your township needed last year versus this year, and there's where you can see where your increase actually came from. You can look line by line. It'll tell you where your increase actually came from. Bottom left-hand corner is your tax calculator. There is where you'll see your discounts, your homeowner exemption, your senior citizen exemption, your senior freeze, disabled person, disabled veteran. All those would be listed there. The only one that's not listed there, which I don't know why, is the long time exemption. For whatever reason, the treasurer's office likes to type it out under important messages. So it'll be listed under here. If you want to connect with us directly, you can call us at 312-443-7550. We are socially active, so if you have a Facebook, if you have a Twitter, an Instagram, a LinkedIn, or you like to be on YouTube a lot, you can connect with us that way as well. If you have a phone, you can open up your camera app, hover over the QR code, and open up our... Come on, Internet. There you go. Open up the Linktree account on your phone and do everything we just talked about. Literally everything we just talked about, you have access to it on your phone now. You can make an appointment to speak with us downtown, 118 North Clark, at our Markham Courthouse location, 16501 South Kedzie Avenue, Skokie Courthouse location with its 5600 West Old Orchard Road, room 149, or the Bridgeview Courthouse, my old stomping grounds, 10220 South 76th Avenue, room 205. That's through the metal detector, up the escalator to the left before you get to the bathroom. If you guys are done with me talking, we can now transition into the Q&A. Is that something we want to do? Yes? It's my favorite part of the night. Awesome. So here is how Q&A is going to work. 1, you're not mad at me. You don't have an attitude with me. I'm not the problem. I just work here, okay? That's 1. 2, we're going to be kind to each other. I know that in situations like this, some people might be annoyed by certain questions that are asked because they might believe that this should be common knowledge or everyone should know this. We're not going to do that here. We're going to be respectful to everyone asking a question. I'm going to repeat the question unless it's a personal question, then I'm not going to, okay? And then lastly, we're going to go in order. So I'm going to go, do you have a question? Do you have a question? Do you have a question? That's literally how we're going to do it. And everyone gets one question, and then we come back around and we do it again. All right? So give me a 2-second water break, and then we'll jump right in. Let's go. Do you have a question? Great question. What is the difference between the senior citizen exemption and the senior freeze exemption? So the senior citizen exemption and the senior freeze are unique in that the senior freeze has an income cap. So you cannot make more than $65,000 as a total household income on the senior freeze. The senior citizen has no income cap. So you could be as rich as you want to be and receive the senior citizen exemption. Because it doesn't matter. It has no income cap. It's just another discount. Question, Colleen? Mm-hmm.
So when you put in that code, you go to the Cook County Assessor site.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a drop down that gets you to the neighborhood section?
Great question. Yes.
And then is that gonna, like, for instance, like if we're on the condo building, it would pull up a bunch of taxes that are in our condo building?
Great question. No. Great question. So the neighborhood tool on our website is awesome because neighborhood 151, I'm just going to use that one. I think that's around here. You can go to our website and you can do the drop down menu and find neighborhood 151, and the residential properties that are there, you'll be able to find them. For condos, it's done differently. Condos, so residential, you own the entire property. Condos, you do not. You own your percentage of ownership. So that information is going to be different for you all. You would, if you're looking for values of, let's not use you. If someone is looking for values of other condos in their specific building, it would be in their best interest to get those PIN numbers, which is easy to do. Your president has it. And just type in those PIN numbers on our website and look at the values that way. But do note that with condos, it's different. You guys have something residential does not. You guys have percentage of ownership. So that's going to change the values a little bit. So just know that. No problem at all. Question?
You know, what drives me crazy is people have the same neighborhood code, they have the same tax code,
Mm-hmm.
and their increases are all over the board as far as percentage-wise, and they're not necessarily new buildings. Why would they all be the same?
Yeah.
Say 20% or something like that. Why are some 60%, some are 15%?
Yeah, great question.
Across the board.
Yeah, great question. So the question is, if we're all in the same neighborhood, we're just for argument, neighborhood 1, why are we not all assessed the same? Kind of. That's the question. Yeah. Yeah. So properties are different, right? So I know that everyone believes that their property is the same as the person next door or the person across the street, but in fact, 9 times out of 10, that is not the case, right? No, I'm not saying tax bill either. I'm saying value. I'm saying the value of the property, right? So most people believe that they are in fact the same, but they're really not, right? That's 1. 2, some properties have discounts that other properties don't have, which cover their value. For example, the home improvement exemption. The home improvement exemption covers you up to $75,000. So let's do some simple math. If your home is worth $100,000 and I do up to $75,000 worth of improvements, what's my home worth now? $175,000, right? Well, the home improvement exemption freezes that for 4 years. So though the property is bigger or better, however people want to say that, you're not going to see that increase. You're not going to see the increase for 4 years, potentially 6 years, depending on when it was actually done within that triennial, right? So there's that. There's also that some people are just assessed incorrectly. And that's why we're here tonight, right? We're saying, hey, guys, this isn't right. This isn't fair. And what most taxpayers do in that situation is they do what's called a squeal appeal. And they contact our office and say, hey, I'm just making it up, 123 Main Street. I know for a fact that their property is the same as mine. We have the same builder, actually, same construction type, same whatever. And I think that they're finessing the system. So here's what happens when that happens. If I am not paying my fair share, guess what happens to all your tax bills? You guys got to cover it, right? So I know there's this idea of, well, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to rock the, no, I'm not paying for you. I'm not paying extra. I don't want to do that. So those are your different options. Did you have a question? Nope. Did you have a question?
When you say improvement,
Mm-hmm.
like reinforcing your foundation or things like that.
Kind of. So on our website, we have a list of what is considered, what can be considered improvements under that exemption. It has to be a residential property. So that's a class 2, which your classes are all on the top right-hand corner of your tax bill. And it has to, so that we don't go into like depth, it has to change the size of your property or increase the value specifically on your property. So what you would do in a perfect world is say, hey, I want to, I don't know, build an extension. You would contact the city, get the permits, obviously, and then they would send that to our office. We would do the math and see, is this actually changing the square footage of the property? Is it actually increasing in value? If the answer is yes, you're given the exemption, and then you're covered for 4 years. If the answer is no, then you're not covered by it. No, no. The property still, the exemption still stays with the property. So it doesn't travel. with the person. It just stays on the property. Great question, actually. So, great question. Any exemption that's on a property stays with the property. It doesn't like travel with the taxpayer. The only one that travels is if you are a senior and you move somewhere else, then you get a brand new senior that goes with you. But the old one doesn't travel. We're going to keep going and then we'll come back. Question? No problem. That's funny. Let me pull it up on my phone because the screen is off. Give me 1 second. Lyons Township. Lyons Residential. The internet in this building, I love it. There we go. So for single family homes, it's 347,000. For condos, it's 183,000, and for multifamily homes, it's 328,000. So if you're within 10% of that, can you still appeal? Absolutely. Will you get a reduction? Probably not. If you're greater than that, you should absolutely appeal. If you're lower than all of that, you should just hang out and not say anything. No problem. Question? No. Question? Mhm. Than us? Yes, absolutely. Maybe, yeah. What are you trying to ask? Yes. It is specific just to Lyons Township, yes. Within Lyons Township, because that's where you live at, I'm assuming. Yeah, so they can only help you with Lyons Township Assessor, Lyons Township Appeals. Like if I live in Worth Township, so I can't come here, you know. So those are our branch offices. That's the Cook County Assessor's office. So think of us like a campus, and those are our campus. We're a school. Those are our campus locations. But then you have kind of liaisons within with the entire county that help you all get to us. Yeah, and what I'm saying is on Lyons Township's website, they don't have the AIM program because that's a private program. So you would have to go into Lyons Township and they will do that work for you. Yeah. Question, sir?
Yes, I have a question. Might be a two-parter, but what I'm looking at is the type of unit that we live in Acacia. There's a whole bunch of them.
Mm-hmm. Just like mine.
And we see them sell from $390,000 to $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best way? Our unit, the unit we have, doesn't have
Mm-hmm.
the full
Doesn't have all the bells and whistles.
a double level deck.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a finished basement, doesn't have a lot of different things. I know when you see these units and you see some of the numbers that the realtors put on, you're like, are you kidding me? Am I trying to let you guys do overall stuff, or am I trying to point out lower or higher numbers in order to somehow get, how do I get my number to be somewhat realistic in the lower end?
Yeah. Great question. And you
Just gonna average out the sales prices, I could put, so much money in my place and still never get close.
correct. So you kind of asked two different questions, so I'm going to answer them. So question number one, remember that when our office does what's called a mass appraisal system, we do not part of the average is not the short sales, not the foreclosures, not the people who are coming in and have no idea what's happening and just dropping loads of money on property, right? That's not what we're doing. We're looking at homes that sold at market value sales. So your argument can be, hey, my home doesn't have the double deck. My home doesn't have the brand new this, the brand new that. My home doesn't have any of this. Exactly. My property doesn't have any of that. Well, you need to let us know that. And how do you let us know that? By doing what's called the narrative, which was that screen that I said you can upload everything onto except for a video. And for you not to get overwhelmed, I would highly encourage you to go to the Lyons Township Assessor's office and file your appeal there, because they will do it, and they're not going to do it for you because that's not right, but they will do it in front of you with you telling them what's right, if that makes sense. So I would do that. And then secondly, you said, absolutely, absolutely. And then secondly, you said, are we supposed to look at the numbers that the realtors give because these numbers are crazy? Well, let's remember that a realtor doesn't sell your home for what it's worth. They sell it for what they can get. So that's a different conversation, right? Question in the back? Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. The deadline? Yes, great question. So all exemptions were due August 4th. That was a Friday, I believe, August 4th. Now, let's pretend you sent it in and a dog ate it. The mail lost it, whatever, something caught on fire and yours was burned up, right? Whatever the situation is, right now, you can contact our office right now. Well, not right now, tomorrow. You can, tomorrow till 2 because we're closing early. But you can contact our office tomorrow and say, hey guys, for whatever reason, I'm not receiving my senior citizen exemption, my homeowner's exemption, whatever it is. And you can file what's called a certificate of error. And we can go back as far as of this moment. It's going to change very soon, though. So 2018. So we can do 2018, 19, 20, 21, and 22. Mm-hmm. Correct. So was the property owner occupied when you bought it, or was it empty? Was it like a rental unit? So they definitely should have been receiving an exemption. So, okay, so then it should have transferred over to you. Yes, unless there's a reason not to. So, because we pay our taxes 1 year behind, right? Was the property owner occupied January 1 of 2022? If the answer is yes, then you should have received it doesn't matter what it was. You should have received every discount that they received. Going forward, around March, April of next year is when you want to apply under your name. Yeah. Yes, sir. Question. Mm-hmm. It's a month. Yes, 30 days. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Negative. They can't, because there are 28, 38, 28 different other townships. So if everyone got extended, then well, no, that's what I'm saying. So they have to be done within a calendar year, right? So in order to do that, each one has a 30-day window. If we start extending those windows, it will no longer take a year. It'll take longer than a year. It'll push everything back, and everything will be late then. So the only time they have ever extended a deadline is if that deadline did in fact land on a holiday or or like a Sunday or something like that. So if your deadline was Thursday, you definitely would have got an extension. But other than that, they're not going to do that. No question? In the back, you guys? Questions? Let's go. Let's do one. She didn't want one. Our office doesn't send bills, remember? Our office doesn't send bills. Mm-hmm. Nope, we don't collect the money either. You can contact the Cook County Treasurer's Office and let them know. I am nice. I did it with a smile, too. I don't understand the question. So, mhm. I understand. That's the argument you have to make, right? You have to say, because remember, everything is data driven. So if we don't know this information, we have nothing to go off of. That's why I can't legally tell you what to do, but I am saying if you were to submit a narrative saying, "Hey guys, I don't have the same property as this gentleman who has the double wide or whatever, the double deck. I don't have a property that would sell for whatever those other two properties sold for." That's the type of information our office needs, because otherwise we don't know. And we can't make an educated like guess on something that we have no idea about. Great question. So that wasn't a question, but I understand what you're saying. I completely agree. Your guy, everyone, not just you all, but everyone's tax bills about, I would say, depending on where you live, at between 50 and 60% is paying straight for schools. Well, that is something you would have to contact your state legislation about and say, "Hey guys, why am I? I'm just using an example. Why am I paying for school when I don't have kids in that school?" No, no, but that's the argument we hear all the time, right? Yeah. What about why am I paying for this service, or why did this referendum get passed and now I got to pay for it? Like, why all that giant yellow box that I pointed out, that is voted on by all of those different departments, and they have meetings. So one would have to go, okay, well, I don't want to do that. How do we do that? Well, you have to make your voice heard. How do you do that? Start contacting the people that are in charge of those charge of those taxing bodies and say, "Hey, hold on, this isn't fair." If that's what your argument is, this isn't fair. I don't want to do that. What can we do? What can we figure out? How do we make that work? The what owners? So the role of the assessor's office is to put a value on your property, give you a discount on your property taxes, and give you a way to checks and balance with your value. That's our role. The treasurer's office collects the money, sends out the tax bills, and then your taxing body, so the things within Lyons Township, not Cook County, within Lyons Township, and they're all listed on your tax bill, every single one, they go together and they vote typically before like November, December, and say, "We're going to need X amount of dollars to run our township." That's where that money comes from. That has nothing to do with the treasurer's office or the assessor's office. Those are the taxing, and they're all listed on your tax bill. It'll say water reclamation. Last year needed X. This year needs more. It'll say public libraries, a school district. I'm making up the numbers. 126 and 142 and 738 need X amount of dollars. That's your township, not your Lyons Township. It's the township you live in. Question? Question? Depends on which one. So the home improvement exemption, yes. The other ones, no. They have nothing to do with the size of your home. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so yeah. So what you, in a perfect world, you would say, "Hey, I want to extend my kitchen. I don't know. You want to extend a bedroom. You want to add a second floor to your home, right? Well, I don't know what your townhome rules are. I could in mine. Yeah. But whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do to change the size of your property, right? Um, you would then file permits. Those permits would then be sent to our office, and then we would start doing the math and going, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And some of that stuff can be considered. You just have to submit, and our office will let you know if it qualifies or not. Mm-hmm. Then the value goes on your value. No problem. Question in the back? Great question. You apply for every single exemption online except the home improvement. Home improvement, our office does in conjunction with your township or your municipality, depending on what's happening. The senior freeze? Yes, you just click the word exemption and they're all listed. I'm so sorry, but that's where they are. But if you're missing it, you can contact our office, file a certificate of error, and either A, get what's called an adjusted bill, so that would give you the deduction immediately, or wait until you pay your tax bill and then get a refund, whichever one you want to do. But there's definitely a way for you to take advantage of that. In the back? Okay. Do we have any more questions? Yes. Mm-hmm. On Joliet Road? Great question. So I don't know what their policy is about walk-ins. Some places you can just walk in, others you cannot. You have to make an appointment. But assuming that doesn't matter, you would just come in with your PIN number and your argument. So my argument is there's no way my house is worth X because this person sold it for this, and here's why. Here are the pictures that prove my house doesn't have the double deck like this person does, or my lot isn't as big as this person, or my home isn't as brand new as this person. Whatever your argument is, you just have to have that information available. And I would highly recommend that everything be digital, because what's going to happen is they're going to submit it online. So if you have pictures, be ready to email them. If you have, oh my gosh, an appraisal, be ready to email that. If you have a plat of survey because you're saying the square footage is incorrect, be ready to email that, things like that. Make sure everything's digital so it's easier. Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I don't normally do rooms that are like this small, so it's kind of weird. Like I'm used to, and they said I can't walk all the way back there, and I don't like to stand in one spot. So I appreciate you guys' kindness. Thank you so much. Listen, there's a water fountain. I just found it right before you guys got here, right out there. But I am actually. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much.